you're still young and just absolutely winging it with your money, you're probably wasting thousands of dollars on things that might be nice today, but just in the long run aren't really going to matter. I want to go through with you today, and I want to show you the frameworks that I use and the systems that I've implemented into my own life that help me set goals, and not just goals that aren't going to be achievable, realistic goals that I know that if I follow my plan, I'm actually going to be able to achieve them. All goals you have will need a framework. You need to have a step-by-step process that you can follow that's going to make sure that you hit these goals every single time. The process that I have starts like this. Every single time that you want to achieve something with your money, the first thing you want to do is you need to understand what it is that you want to do. Why are we saving money? What are we saving money for? What's the goal? What's the object? What's the thing? All right. Now, these can take on many different forms. Is the goal to buy a house? Is the goal to buy a car? Is the goal to have $5,000 saved? Is the goal to start investing? What is the thing? You need to ascertain what your object of desire is before you can set the goal. Now, the second step in this process, and the most important step, is you need to be able to answer why that is important to you. So let's just take the example of a house. That's a really easy one to do. If I say, I want to buy a house, that's my money goal. I need to ask myself, why? Now, I could say, I have a family. I want to have a house where my kids can grow up in. I need to go a level deeper. I've asked myself why once, I'm going to ask myself why a second time. Why does that matter? Why do I want to have a house for my family to grow up in? Well, because it's special. It's going to be a place where you can create memories, and it's going to be a safe and secure place that they can grow up in to create those memories. All of a sudden, you're creating an emotional attachment to this goal. I'm thinking about this thinking, hey, I really want that for my kids. That sounds like it's worth doing. Now, this is where it gets real deep. We got to go a third layer. We got to ask ourselves why for the third time. Why do I want my kids to grow up in a safe environment, in a secure home? That one feels like I don't even need to answer it. That's pretty obvious why I would want that, but I'll do it anyway. Having a place to call home constantly that is safe and secure means a lot to me, because I had that when I was a kid and I want to give that to my children. All of a sudden, we have turned buy a home into create a safe, warm, secure environment for my children. Now, that's automatically going to be way more emotionally significant to me as an individual, and for you as well. If you've gone through and you've done the first why and the second why and the third why, and you've hit something within you that really just speaks to who you are and really gives you that desire to go fulfill that goal, that's the aim here. That's why we need to ask ourselves why. So the next step in this process would be to figure out how much money you actually need. Once we've figured out what it is, why you actually want to do it, why it means something to you, you figure out how much it is. So this is not just going to be super easy every single time. It might be easy. You might want to buy a pair of Bose headphones or something, and they're going to be $600 or whatever it might be. So that's a clear objective. This is how much it's going to cost. Some other things, in the case of a car, you're going to need to do research. You're going to need to find, the car that you want, figure out how much that car costs. If that is probably, if it's out of your budget or if it's too expensive, you're going to have to readjust. At the end of the day, all of these goals that we have are meant to be realistic. You need to research what is realistic for you. And that partially bleeds into the next step, and they sort of carry over to each other. But this part is purely figuring out how much it costs. Now, this last part can be broken down into a few different segments, because this is your deadline. All of these goals and all of these things are good to have. They're great to have. Obviously, we want to be able to set goals for ourselves, but I don't know if you've ever experienced trying to achieve a goal without a deadline or a timeline. It just becomes way harder to do. Having a deadline means you know that there's a cutoff point. And without the cutoff point, you're not as accountable, you're not as susceptible to actually following through with it. The 3 different types of goals that we have, I categorize as fingertip goals, like ones that are like just there. You can just grab them if they're right in front of you. Number 2 is horizon goals. So they're, just a little bit further away. You can see them. They're probably going to take you, 3 to 9 months, maybe 11, no longer than a year for those horizon goals. And then future goals. So goals that you're starting to plan for today that you're not going to see benefit for at least 2 to 3 years, maybe even more. To recap, we have figured out what we want. We have figured out why we want it. We have figured out how much we need, and we're going to figure out when we need it by. Once we have all of those things, that's when we can start to do the math and plan it out. And it's going to be different for every different goal, but the essential math is figure out how many weeks it's going to take you to get from where you are to your goal. Bose headphones, $600. That's a fingertips goal. It's not going to take you a year to save $600. You know that you need to save $100 a week out of your paycheck for 6 weeks to be able to reach the $600 goal. Now that could be achievable for you. That might not be achievable for other people. You might want to drop it back to $50 a paycheck, and then that's going to take double the time. All of these goals that you set are achievable for you and you alone. We're not comparing ourselves to others. We're not trying to put away more money than is applicable or more money than we can. We're doing these things because we have established that it's something we want or something we need. We've established why we want or need it. We've established how much we need to get it and when we're going to get it. And then we're going to go through and make sure that we have the actionable steps within our framework, within our budget, within our lifestyle to make these things happen. If your goal with saving for a house and a house deposit is you need to put $100, $50, whatever it might be away, and you need to do that for 2 to 3 years to be able to get to where you want to be, if that's an achievable goal for you, that's an achievable goal for you. If you are someone that has a huge paycheck and you can put $600 away because you're still living at home with your parents, or you're paying minimal rent because you're in a share house with 6 other people, all of these things need to come into consideration when you're doing what you're doing. But as long as you're following this framework of breaking it down into these steps, you are going to be able to achieve your goals 9 times out of 10. And the only time that it doesn't work is when you're not true to yourself with how you set the goal up. Because if you're setting up a goal and you can't answer why, let's just say, the thing you want is the new iPhone. And you ask yourself, why do I want the new iPhone? If the reason that you want it is because the iPhone looks cool, that's a superficial goal. That doesn't have the substance there that's going to help you achieve the goal. There needs to be a burning desire in you to get these things. You can't just turn on desire. You need to find it. And to find it, you need to work through the framework. Now, I hope this helps on some level for you. I hope you're going to, after watching this video, go through and set one of each of these goals. Set a future goal. Set something that you know you're going to be able to achieve in the next 2 to 3 years. Go through and set yourself a horizon goal, something that you want to have done by this time next year. And set yourself a fingertip goal, something that you want to have in the next week or 2 or a month. You can do it. It's not as difficult as it seems. And look, I believe in you. Leave in the comments what your goals are and come back once you've completed them.